Life moves at such a fast pace. It is so easy to fall into the trap of the hamster wheel of life and the chaos and the busyness and the overstimulation and the overwhelmingness of trying to do and be everything all at once. I'm here to tell you that it doesn't need to feel that way. I have been there, I've done that. I've got a whole pile of t-shirts and I don't play that game with life anymore. I've made some shifts within my habits, my lifestyle, my mindset that have completely simplified my life, that have grounded my life, that have added more peace to my life. And inside this video I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of those things that have completely simplified and transformed my life, so you can just feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more calm, and live a more peaceful and meaningful life. The first way I simplified my life was I stopped living for the approval of others and started actually living for myself. You might hear that and might think that that doesn't apply to you, but I would really invite you to actually genuinely sit with that, because for so long I was living my life for the approval of others and what other people would think, and it was entirely subconscious. There wasn't one moment where I thought, oh, I'm doing this for other people. I just was, and it was only when I stepped back, took a pause in my life and reflected on what I was doing in my life, in my day-to-day life, and what was actually for me and what was actually for others, that I realized just how much I was doing for the approval of others. And I realized that the things that actually make me happy, the things that actually bring me joy, the things that actually fill my cup up were the very, very, very simple things in life, like cooking nourishing meals, going on walks in nature, working on myself every day, setting myself new goals. It was really simple things that I realized made me happy and made me feel content and grateful. And I slowly just let go of the noise of everything else, and I realized I wasn't as materialistic as I thought I was. Some of the things I was doing, some of the things I was buying, some of the things I was wearing weren't actually making me happy, and the only happiness I was getting from them was the validation and approval from others. That happiness that comes from validation from others isn't actually true happiness. It's a false sense of happiness because it's comfortability. Is that a word? Comfortability? I think it is. The only validation you need in your life is the validation that you give yourself. And when you can reach a place where everything you're doing in your life is because you enjoy it and it makes you happy, and it's not for what anyone else will see or what anyone else will think, that is when you will reach a place of pure contentment in your heart, because you're truly living in alignment with who you want to be and who you're meant to be. And that is when you're going to feel so much more meaning and so much more groundedness and so much more happiness within your life, because you're truly living for yourself. So I really invite you to think about the question, what am I doing in my life right now that's more for the approval of others than it is for myself? Another really good question you can ask that's like the same question in a different wording: if no one was to ever see what I was doing on a daily basis or ever know, what would I do differently? Would you still be buying some of the things you're buying if you knew no one else would ever see them? Would you still be going to certain places if you knew no one else would ever know or ever see it? If no one else would ever see this or know that I did this or went to this place or hung out with this person or wore this outfit or achieved this milestone, if I could tell no one about it, would I still want it? And when the answer is no, that's how you know that thing is out of alignment and there needs to be a shift made there. The second way that I simplified my life was going on a spring cleaning decluttering journey. I literally started my spring cleaning journey last spring, and a year later I'm still working on this. I'm still intentional with this. I'm still on that journey of decluttering my home, decluttering my wardrobe. Those were the 2 main areas that I really focused on and have focused on, is my home and the items within my home and my wardrobe. You can go into other areas of your life, like your nutrition or your relationships. Like, there are other areas that you can also look at decluttering, and I really invite you to do that as well. But the 2 main places I started and I found to be the most impactful have been really decluttering through my home and my wardrobe, and really letting go of things that don't bring me joy. It's not about keeping things that you kind of like, that you're not bothered by, that so and so bought for you, but you're not bothered by it, you don't love it. I don't want that energy in my life. I don't know about you, but I want a life that's full of joy and love, and everything around me brings me joy. I wanted to become really intentional with only keeping things that genuinely bring me joy. So if I would put on a t-shirt that day and I didn't like how it looked, or I didn't feel good wearing it, it would not be going back into my wardrobe. It's going in a different pile, ready to be sold or donated. And really doing that with everything in your home and your life can be so transformative transformative, because ultimately everything in your life, in your home, is energy. Everything is energy. When you are filling your surroundings, your environment, with things that you don't like, that don't make you feel good, that represent an old version of you, that don't even represent any version of you, it's just that someone bought it for you and you've got that people-pleasing tendency that you don't want to get rid of it because you don't want them to be mad at you, so you'd rather just keep it even though you don't actually like or want it. Maybe you can resonate with that, because I've definitely been there. When we're filling our home with those things, that energy is present. And what I found is when I started decluttering and clearing things, everything in my life became lighter, because my environment became lighter, less overwhelming and less overstimulating. And so life is just easier that way. Like, dealing with other things and the chaos of life is so much easier when your home is filled with things that bring you joy, and just kept really simple and minimal. I'm definitely not perfect with this. I'm still 100% on this journey, but I think it's a process. I think it's a journey. I think there are new levels to it. I think there are things that are harder to get rid of, things that are easier to get rid of. And two of the things that have really helped me with decluttering, because I was such a big hoarder before. Is it a hoarder or hoarderer? I'm not sure, but hoarderer, whatever it was one of those things before. One of the things that really helped me was creating a maybe pile. So if you're really struggling to decide if you want to keep something or not, make a maybe pile and set a deadline of, if I don't reach for this item, if I don't remember that I have this item in the maybe pile, if I don't want to wear this item, in a month's time this item is going, right? So making a maybe pile helps to transition between keeping and getting rid. The maybe pile is like that middle ground where you just get to like sit on it for a little bit, but there's that boundary of, right, after a month or after 6 weeks, this item is going. You can even be more savage than that and make it a week or 2 weeks. And then the other thing was not doing this all in one go. Yes, you may have days where you're like, I'm doing a big declutter, I'm going to be savage today. But once you've done the bulk of things, if that's how you want to go about doing it, I just invite you to take it piece by piece, day by day. Like I said, if you put on a top and you don't like it, cool, that's going in the charity shop pile, or that's going in the I'm going to sell that later pile, or I'm going to donate that. For me, what I found is just help me to also just stay on top of this journey is picking things up here and there, just piece by piece, and building up a pile in a bag that is just going to be decluttered. And over time, it just feels so much easier when you're taking it one by one, day by day, and even testing yourself of like, what's one thing I can let go of today, and just like really pushing yourself, but in a more gradual way. I found that those two things have been so helpful and made it so much easier to gradually get rid of things that do not bring me joy inside my home. So the next way that I've simplified my life kind of goes off the back of the last one, and that is taking the decluttering and making it a lifestyle, making it a part of my day-to-day life. And what I mean by that is then, instead of spending all this time and energy getting rid of stuff, but then just like rebuying things and still continuing the habits that got us cluttered and filled with things in the first place, actually making it harder for myself when I'm making purchases. So just putting up a few barriers, instead of impulse buying and just seeing someone on Instagram that's wearing a jumper and searching for the jumper and buying the jumper. It's actually being really intentional with, okay, do I already have a jumper like this in my wardrobe? Do I need another beige jumper? Probably not. Maybe I've got a grey one, a black one, a beige one. Do I need a blue one? Probably not. It's just being really intentional with making sure you don't get recluttered again. So living a more simplified, minimal lifestyle when you're actually purchasing things and shopping for things. So do I actually need this? Do I really, really, really want this? Am I going to thank myself for this purchase in a year's time? Something I'm doing now is, instead of buying cheaper things more often, I'm actually investing in higher quality items that will stand the test of time and that will be really timeless throughout time, whether that be clothing or items within my home. I'm just being so intentional about buying quality over quantity and really making sure I actually love it. My rule is, if I don't love it, it's going back. Media does a really good job of making us feel urgency to buy things, like they're going to run out and they're going to be sold out and then you're never going to be able to get it. Realistically, the thing that you're looking at buying, you are most likely going to be able to either buy that very thing or something very similar in the future. So something that's really helped me with this is, when I think of something that I want to buy, I will put it on my Christmas list, and either I will know by the time it comes to Christmas whether I still want it or not, which is also going to show you some of your purchasing habits, which is really interesting to notice. But between now and Christmas, I'll be able to decide if I still want it, or between now and December, December. If I really want it, I will buy it for myself, but I'll put it on that list so I don't forget it. I know it's parked, and as time goes on, I'll either ask for it for Christmas, I'll buy it myself, or I'll realize I don't actually need or want it and it can come off the list. Making a list of items that you want to purchase will just give you that, again, that barrier between seeing the item and buying it, but it will just give you a little bit of time to really think about it and be intentional with it. I feel like when you create this habit for yourself when it comes to purchasing things, you just find you're so much more intentional about what you're buying, and you'll find you'll gradually start having items in your home, clothes in your wardrobe that you actually love. And what's better than creating a life where everything around you are the things you love? I really find that the little things are the big things. If you want to create a life that's full of love, start with the little things in your life, the little things in your home, the things in your wardrobe, and make sure you're only buying things and consuming things and holding on to things and displaying things that you actually love. The third way that I simplified my life was really double downing on my priorities for the year, my goals for the year, so I knew what things are going to get the majority of my energy and what things are not. So really getting clear on what are your goals for the next year, what are your priorities for the next year, what things do you want to achieve in the next year, and that is where you're going to be putting your energy. And you can separate this into like work, home, health and fitness goals. You could separate this out into different sections and really looking at like, what are my goals in these areas? And then from the goals, you'll be able to get clear on your priorities, and then letting go of everything that's not that. It's just being really intentional with your life, working backwards from your goals into your priorities and then into your daily life and into your daily habits, and just getting really intentional about that. And the fifth way that I've simplified my life is creating systems within my home that make the mundane feel less mundane, and that make the jobs that I do within my home so much lighter and so much less overwhelming. So I'll give you an example. Laundry used to be a big thing for me, where it would pile up. The laundry basket would get so big. This may seem really irrelevant, but actually it's been really life-changing for me. I used to have a laundry basket that had a lid, so we could pile it up, and I would ignore it, right? Because it was away, I couldn't see it. And what I realized was the laundry basket was piling up and up and up, and I was always chasing my tail with it because I could never do all of that laundry in one day. I live in the UK. We don't have summer all year round. I wish we did. Sometimes laundry can take a good few days to dry, and I wouldn't be able to actually do all my laundry in one day. So I would always be chasing my tail and never getting through the laundry basket, and it would always feel overwhelming because I would never finish it. And so what I did was I got myself an old school basket with no lid, and that way it can't fill up too much. And I do laundry now roughly every other day or every 2 to 3 days, and it's just so much more on a system now where it feels less overwhelming. I do shorter and smaller loads, putting it out, putting it away. The whole thing feels easier. It doesn't feel like this big task job that I need to do one day a week. It's just intertwined with my day-to-day life, and I don't even think about it really anymore. So really creating a system that worked for me and my family, it's just taken things that didn't ever need to be overwhelming but were overwhelming, and simplified them and made them so much easier and lighter. So even when it comes down to our meals that I cook within the week, and getting organized with that, and knowing what I'm going to be cooking throughout the week, and then going food shopping with those things in mind, knowing what we do and don't have at home, and just creating systems within the things I do in my home has allowed me to just enjoy those jobs so much more, and enjoy homemaking so much more, and enjoy taking care of my family and doing these things because they don't feel like big overwhelming tasks. They just feel like these are the things I'm doing to keep everything in this house afloat, and I'm doing them in a way that feels good for me and that makes sense for me and that supports me in making them the easiest that they possibly can be. So really looking at your life and the things you do in your day-to-day life, whether you are working a job, you've got a business, you've got a baby, you've got 2 babies, you've got kids, you've got all of it going on, and asking yourself, what in my life can I simplify? What in my life can I create a system for that would make these things I'm doing so much easier and so much more organized? I really feel like part of simplifying our life and feeling more peace and contentment comes from being more organized, because I feel like the opposite of organized is chaotic. So when we're organized, we're less chaotic, therefore we just have more peace. It doesn't mean we do less, it just means that the things we're doing feel more systemized, they feel more organized, and we just feel a little bit more in control of those things, and therefore feel a lot calmer and peaceful whilst we do all the things that we are here to do and the things that we do. Those are the 5 things that have really transformed my life and simplified it, and as a result created so much more peace and happiness and joy and contentment within my life, within myself, and within my heart. And I really hope that some of these things have landed for you and can inspire you to maybe make some changes within your lifestyle that can just reduce the stimulation and the overwhelm in your life and create more peace and more contentment within your heart. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye guys.